Hello and congratulations on getting access to this video course. We're going to talk about how to grow your Instagram fan base. Let's just go ahead and jump right in, and this is video number 1. And let's talk about a quick overview of what's inside this video course so that you know exactly what to expect. Of course, this is video number 1. Video number 2, we're going to talk about a list of things that you need to do before you can actually drive traffic. So before we actually jump right into the 4 different traffic sources that we've pinpointed to figure out what is best as far as driving traffic with Instagram, I want to talk about a few things and just prepare you so that you're able to start out on the right foot. Video number 3 is going to be broad niche and specific posts. Video number 4 is going to talk about demographics. It's a big mistake that a lot of people just jump straight into trying to drive traffic without really trying to think, okay, who am I trying to attract? If you don't know who you're trying to attract, then it's going to be hard and going to be difficult on what you're trying to do. And then you're just trying to hit everything. You're just trying to drive tons of traffic, and at the end of the day, yes, you might have a massive list of 100,000 people, but it doesn't matter if you're not building a quality list. So that's what we're going to talk about in mindset in just a minute. So after that, we'll talk about traffic source number 1, number 2, number 3, and number 4. All right. So now what I want to do is talk about mindset. I really want you to think about quality over quantity. That's why I brought up the issue with you don't want a list of 100,000 followers unless those followers are super targeted and they are your demographics. That's when it's okay. But at the end of the day, I don't really want you to think, oh, I need a list of, I have to have a list of 10,000 or 50,000 or 100,000. So it's easy to get trapped into I want a large following. But really what you don't want to do is you don't want pride to ruin your profits. If you look at a lot of people who have big lists, they're like, I've got this big list. So it's really showy, it's really prideful, and I don't want you to get in that mindset because it's not about pride. It's not about the big list. It's about providing valuable content to your followers to the point that they love you, they love your content, and they're willing to buy from you versus somebody else. All right. So that's what I'm trying to get at right here. So it's better to have 100 fans who love and engage your content versus 1,000 fans who don't really like or view your content, right? So start with this mindset first and you will become more successful. All right. So what do you need? Well, obviously you need an Instagram account. We assume that your account is well branded and converts as well. So meaning that your account has, your brand on it, whether if it's your personal brand or your company brand, you have an idea that Instagram is all about lifestyle, right? People may have found you via Facebook, which Facebook is all about discovery, and then Instagram is all about, oh, okay, I know more about you, but I want to get to know you. So that's what Instagram is all about, all right? So I assume you have a better idea of that, and you have a good, Instagram profile, and you're ready to begin driving traffic. But if you haven't really touched base yet, I'm going to talk a little bit about this in the next couple videos. And that way you're able to start out on the right foot. But the main goal of this video course is, of course, to get your traffic strategies that actually work. So with that said, let's go ahead and move on to video number 2. Welcome back. This is video number 2, and let's talk about what you need to do before you can drive traffic. So there are a few things that you must have. Aside from having an Instagram account, you need to make sure that your account is well branded, meaning the type of person that you're attracting is going to really want to follow your personal or company lifestyle. Now, I touched briefly about this before, but if you're not well aware of this, as you know, different social media platforms are different, right? So Instagram is all about the lifestyle. People follow you on Instagram because they want to know more about you on a very granular level, meaning they want to know more about your lifestyle. So let's say, for example, like scuba diving. All right. So with scuba diving, they're going to want to know more, not just about scuba diving, but they want to know, what you're doing like before scuba diving and all that, right? So they kind of get to know you on a better, more personal level. So you need to figure out, are you doing this as a personal lifestyle, or is this a company brand lifestyle? So obviously brand lifestyle would be a little bit different, but personal would be more on a personal level, right? So your branding needs to address that. How well your profile resonates with your target audience is one of the most important things, because it's kind of make it or break it. So Instagram is all about that. And as you know, like YouTube is all about entertainment. People go there to kind of waste time, and they're not really thinking. They might want to go there to learn, but they're also there to kind of waste time and all that. So that's a different platform and different atmosphere. So as you know, you can't really go to a different culture and act differently, right? Otherwise, you're going to stand out and you're not going to fit. So I'm not saying you need to fit a specific person, but rather you need to fit a specific platform. Like I said earlier, Facebook is all about discovery. Like, people go to Facebook and they might discover your brand or you, right? So they want to know more about you, and they therefore go to Instagram. So as long as you have that kind of, okay, this is what I need to do in Instagram. I need to pick and choose pictures that fit content, or pictures that showcase our personal or our company lifestyle, then that's what the type of mindset, that's where you need to be. All right. So if you get this right, the type of people that follow you are going to be higher quality type. All right. So that's your goal at the end of the day. Get 100 people that really love and consume and engage and like and heart your Instagram pictures, versus getting 2,000 people and maybe getting like one like here or there. All right. So that's kind of the mindset that I want you to be into. All right. So like I said, let's talk about scuba diving for a minute. Let's say we are selling the latest, greatest scuba diving mask. This mask will allow you to breathe on, go underwater and view the beautiful things underwater for a longer period of time. Maybe it's easier, whatever. So in order to do this, you're going to need a profile that attracts this type of person, that gets them excited by showing them the lifestyle besides the scuba mask. So like, for example, on Facebook, you might sell a scuba mask, or even on YouTube, you might show how to use it. But on Instagram, you want to show the lifestyle around it, right? So you might want to show scuba diving lifestyle, what happens during the day, maybe before you go scuba diving, maybe afterwards, or just the lifestyle, so people can kind of see, okay, this is how it fits into my life. And I got some ideas, I got some inspiration, I'm going to go buy your product, kind of thing. All right, so selling on Instagram is very indirect. It's not direct at all. In fact, if it is direct, you're on the direct response marketing does not work very well on Instagram. All right. So keeping that in mind, you might want to integrate the scuba mask into the whole picture. And that way they have a better idea of, okay, this is how it fits into my life and all that. People want your product or service simply because it not only solves a problem, but the keyword that I used earlier is inspiration. A lot of times people go to Instagram to get inspiration, to get ideas on how to incorporate it into their lives. So they can see from your lifestyle, they see different inspiration, different ideas that they can take back. And if they feel that they have gotten value from you, they're more likely and more inclined to actually purchase from you, right? So that's what you need to do before you can think traffic. Traffic is easy, but getting your profile set up right, picking the pictures that you need to choose that fit the lifestyle and the style of your brand is crucial. Now, another thing that I want to say is if you're looking for pictures, you can go on sites like bigstockphoto.com, you can go on graphicriver.net, and what I recommend that you do is you find pictures that fit a similar style. Hello and welcome back. This is video number 3, and let's talk about broad, niche, and specific posts. Basically, how to set your profile up in such a way that it attracts the right person. And it'll make more sense as I dive into this. So now that we've discussed why branding and attracting a very specific person is important, the question is, how do we attract them? Well, your main profile should cover a broad niche, and that's why this is titled Broad Niche and Specific Post. So what does that look like? Well, it shouldn't be too broad, but it should be broad enough that it attracts a specific person of a specific mindset. And then, of course, your content posts, which are your pictures, then should be more specific. Now, while that makes common sense, I'm actually going to jump in. I'm going to show you how to actually do things in just a minute. So here's what I mean. Let's say you're targeting scuba diving, all right? So if that's the case, you should use a general or broad keyword related to scuba diving. Now, if you want to do scuba diving, that's fine. Maybe you want to do something more specific, like you're just scuba diving masks, all right? So you can focus just in on that as your broad niche keyword. But you don't want to be too specific because you want to attract somebody of a similar mindset. So in that case, you might want to do like a scuba diving profile. Now, if you're a company, that's a little different. If you're a personal lifestyle, you can go a little bit more broad with a personal lifestyle. So with a company, you kind of have to do it a little bit more specific. But if it is specific for your profile, your posts need to be more specific. Now, I'm going to show you different ways and different tools that you can use to actually break things down so that you can brainstorm more specific keywords. And that way, instead of just posting to post, you have a reason to post, and then you have the ability to post things that people actually want. All right. So we're going to use Google Suggest Keywords, and I'm going to show you in a minute how to actually do all of this. All right. So this will allow you to find high demand, high search keywords that people really want, and you're not just thinking, okay, this is something that I feel like is going to work. You're actually using actual data from Google that actually says that these are keywords that people want to know. All right. So that way, instead of figuring things out yourself, you're just taking a look really quick. As you'll see in just a minute, we're going to do it really quick. You're going to have it in hand, and you're basically going to have a roadmap to actually what to do, basically. And you can use this later on. So for now, let me jump right in and let me go ahead and show you this in action. So obviously, before you can do this, you need to have an idea of what you want to sell, right? So that way it'll tell you whether you need to do scuba diving mask, that is a little bit more specific but yet general, or you need to just do a widespread scuba diving, very, very general, right? So you need to know that before you actually do this research, because it's just going to make life a lot easier if you do it this way. So let's say, for example, that we're going to do scuba diving. We don't really care about the masks or anything like that. So all you do is just type in scuba diving, and then you can scroll all the way down to the very bottom, and you're going to see the following. So you're going to see scuba diving gear, scuba diving meaning, equipment, facts, dangers, Goa, whatever that is, and then videos, and difference between scuba diving and snorkeling and all of that. So you could even go further and type scuba diving gear and see what you find here. So we can go down to the very bottom again, and these are basically Google suggested keywords. That means that there is a very high demand for these keywords. That means people are searching for these keywords. So you could take these and you could break them down, and you could say, okay, my profile is targeting scuba diving. So what you could do is make sure that you focus on maybe different types of gear packages, gear or tanks, different equipment and all that, and how that integrates into your lifestyle. Obviously, if you're going to do scuba diving and that's part of your lifestyle, then hopefully, you're teaching something that you're already familiar with. So that's going to be a lot easier. You just take pictures of your scuba diving gear. Now, if you're doing this for like affiliate marketing and you're not really scuba diving, then of course you kind of have to get creative. And then of course you can go to places like I said, like Big Stock Photo, and find images. So how about I do that just right now? So this is bigstockphoto.com, and let's say we'll type in scuba diving. Now, what I mentioned earlier about styles is if you go through here, you'll start to begin to notice there's a very specific style, because different artists, different photographers are different, right? So maybe you really like a certain picture. So if you click on it, Big Stock Photo will actually tell you who the contributor is. In this case, it is Rich Carey. So if you click here, you can actually see all of the photos by him. So then your pictures actually begin to look very similar. Somebody looks at it and they're like, okay, the style is very similar, and therefore the brand is very similar. The problem is a lot of times if you're picking and choosing different photos from different authors, they look totally different, and then it kind of creates this uneasiness, right? So people don't know how to say it, or they don't know how to explain it, but they just feel uneasy. So that's why when let's say you have specific keywords that you find, and you want to make sure that the images that match that also match each other, right? Because at the end of the day with Instagram, it's big in images, so people will judge you by often the 9 images that show up on your profile first. So you might want to take a look at these bigstockphoto.com or Shutterfly or all these other royalty-free image sites. So that's what I would do as far as finding, keywords, starting with the broad keyword, which is very easy. That's whatever you want to sell, and then breaking it down from that point on. Now, another tool that you could use is the Google Keyword Planner, but honestly, I feel like this is the easiest way to do things. Plus, you're also seeing the suggest keywords, which are what people actually are typing in a good amount of. Now, you could also use other suggest search engines like Amazon.com. So let's go over there for now. So Amazon.com is a great place to go to simply because if you notice, if you type here, let's say scuba diving. So as you are about to complete the sentence, you can see that it also gives you suggestions like scuba diving equipment, fins, regulator, mask, lights, computer, and knife and equipment package. So Amazon, as you know, people go here to buy products and goods. So they're more likely to show you what is actually profitable. So you can get keywords from here. You can also go to places like eBay. You can go to Walmart. You can even go to YouTube.com to get an idea of what people are looking for. You can also go to Instagram as well. So this is kind of how you can figure out the specific post, and from here you can break it down even further. So for example, let's say scuba diving mask. So we type in scuba diving mask, and you can see that it breaks it down further. Scuba diving mask and snorkel, diving mask set, case for kids, frameless, defogger, strap cover, and GoPro mount. So you could even break it down further. Let's say strap. Let's see what we get. So sometimes it'll stop at that point. So set, dive it. So let's just take a look at scuba diving mask and see what we get. And from there, you can figure out, okay, these items are selling the most. Maybe I'll do a lifestyle review on that or something. And there you go. That's basically all you have to do. Nothing complex, and I didn't want to make it complex at all. So like I said, just a quick recap. Number one, get your main keyword. Number two, get your specific keywords and turn those specific keywords into specific posts. Okay, so welcome back. This is video number 4. Let's talk about demographics, which is really crucial to understanding who you are targeting before you actually begin to drive traffic. Because the worst thing that you can do is drive traffic without even knowing who you need to target. What age, what sex, female, male, whatever, and all that. The life stage and all that is very, very important, because if you attract the wrong person, then you're not going to get really the conversions that you're looking for, right? So don't invest any money yet. Let's talk about demographics. So like I said, before you can use any traffic source 1, 2, 3, 4, you need to do this research. I'm going to make it quick as possible so you can get an idea. You can go do it yourself, and you can be on the road to figuring out how to build up your Instagram following. So basically, you need to know who you're targeting. Like I said, male, female, age, life stage, all that. And you can get all that information for free by using a free tool. Now, this way you find a high quality follower who will love, consume, and engage with your content if done right. So here's how to do it. Basically, the way it works is once you have found your broad keyword, which you should have figured out in the previous video, you can use the free Facebook Audience Insight tool, as I will show you in just a minute. Okay, so the best way to get to the Facebook Audience Insights tool is simply by going to business.facebook.com/ads/audience-insights, and that should forward you here. If you have any problems, you could always go to google.com, do a search for the Facebook Audience Insights tool, and you should find the link here. So sometimes Facebook will change the links, so that is the case. That is how to always find it out. So the way and the reason why I like the Facebook Audience Insights tool is it really drills down to the point that you can see who your demographic is. Now, the best way to do that, especially if you're getting started out, is you can do it in two different ways. You can either go find a magazine that is very popular in that niche, or you can simply type in the interest here. So up at the top, you can search for a specific country. So normally it sets you within the country that you're searching from. In this case, from United States, and you can always click the X and you can add like UK, Canada, Australia, or whatever else countries that you're looking for. You can also specify the age and gender, but I wouldn't do that right now. In fact, I wouldn't do anything right now. The only thing that I would do is under the interest, I would put the actual interest. So I would put a very broad keyword. So in this case, I would do scuba diving. So if you notice, if I put scuba mask, it doesn't even show up. So what you're looking for is a very, very broad keyword. So in this case, scuba diving. Now, what's even better is if you can find like a magazine. Let's see if this one's a magazine. Yeah, so this one's a magazine. And the reason why magazines are great is because magazines they'll do everything in their power to promote their magazine. So they get a lot of traffic coming to their page. So if you can find a Facebook page as well, that would be great as well. But as you can see here, we can see 61% is men, and then of course 39% are women. The majority of men, it looks to be from the ages 35 to age 54. Same with the females as well. So there's females, males, it seems like the largest group is 35 to 54. So after you have a better idea of the age and gender, you can of course take a look at the lifestyle, which will give you a better idea of what kind of pictures you can use for your Instagram profile. Looks like there's a lot of married and college, well educated, and there's a lot of veterans, government, and military. So we have a better idea of what kind of pictures that we should choose. You can go to page likes and get an idea of the different pages. Go to these pages, take a look at the pages, see which images get the highest comments, the highest likes, and then maybe use similar images for yourself as well. Location is okay, but it doesn't really matter right now. Really what we care more about is just the demographics and the page likes. And that's all you have to do. Now, if you want to narrow into a very specific area, let's say men 45 to 54, you can always click this and get a better narrow view. But even if you click that, we can see that it's about pretty much the same. So once you're done with that, you are good to go to the next video. Welcome to video number 5. Let's talk about traffic source number 1. So the first source is called shoutouts. The way this works is by finding another Instagram follower who has a massive following, then paying them to promote you. So instead of contacting them, which you can do if you want to, there are many different sites out there that you'll be able to find these Instagram influencers and then approach them, pay them money, and then of course get them to build essentially and promote your Instagram profile. There really aren't many methods that you can use to get tons of followers overnight, but this is one of them few. So let me go ahead and show you some sites that you can use, and I'm going to show you how to use them. Okay, so there are a few places that you can go to get shout outs. And keep in mind that when you grow your Instagram profile to a point, you can do this as well and make some extra money on the side. But there are tons of people out there with massive size Instagram accounts. They might be directly related and they may not. So another reason why you really need to know your demographics is, let's say if we can't find somebody who is scuba diving Instagram profile. If that's the case, then we need to look for something out of the box, like maybe camping or something of that nature, where we find people who maybe not necessarily are fanatical scuba divers, but they want to see the coral reefs and they want to see the beautiful ocean, but they're campers. They love the experience already. So you might need to look at other niches and bring them over. So that's just something to keep in mind, because you're not always going to find somebody who has an exact profile in your niche. If you do, then great, that's awesome. But I just want to go over a few sites that you can go to for now. The first one being shoutcart.com. That's shoutcart.com. Another one is shoutotter.com. And you can see that you can see the different shout outs that you can get access to. And we have plughype.com. So you can see there are many different things like fitness, there's recipes and health and fitness, yoga, and all that. So let's go over here and we got buysellshoutouts.com. And then of course on fiverr.com, fiverr.com, you can also type in Instagram shout out and you'll be able to find a bunch here. Now keep in mind, make sure that they are either targeted, or if they are not, the demographic that they're trying to attract is a similar demographic you have. So if you don't know, always contact them and say, hey, my demographic is male, ages from 25 to such and such. I was just curious to make sure that your audience is very similar as well. So they should know that kind of stuff. If they don't know, then don't use them, because you want to make sure that you find somebody who is knowledgeable. But if you go to shoutcart.com, you can create a free account. You can click on browse up at the top, and you can do a search for the keyword. So like I said, I clicked on this one here, but you can see that for a 2-hour shout, which means they're going to shout out to their audience. They're going to say, hey, follow this guy over here. They can, for 2 hours, it's only $5. For 24 hours, it's $10. For a permanent shout out, that's $15. So you can go here, check it out. These other ones are good as well. Now, Fiverr, I will say be careful. Some of these people specifically, and other sites as well, but some people create their Instagram profiles for this very reason. So maybe they have a large following, but at the end of the day, they don't really have quality followers. And the way you know that is by clicking this right here or doing a search for their name and doing your own due diligence and figuring out, okay, are they actually getting comments, likes, and all of that? Or are they just blasting a bunch of stuff and they're not getting any engagement, right? So it's better to actually buy something, a shout out from somebody who is actually getting engagement, all right? Hello and welcome back. This is video number 6, traffic source number 2. There are a very few software apps out there that will allow you to find other Instagram followers in your specific niche and follow them. Now, of course, this is a warning to you that Instagram has in the past banned some of these apps. So use this at your own risk. If you want to do the white hat way, I would do traffic source number 1, number 3, and number 4. But even number 3 and 4, you can get banned if you overdo it. So the key here is not to overdo it. Instagram, I believe someone said that you have about 500 actions that you can take for every 24 hours, meaning likes, comments, and all that. More than that is just going to look spammy. So typically, if you're just getting started, it's probably best if you start at a lower rate, like 100, and then increase it to maybe 150 or more. But if you start out and do like 400 likes, 400 follows, and all that, that's just going to red flag the algorithm, and you do not want to go down that path. All right. So one specific software is called Follow Adder. That's FOLLOWADDER, and this will allow you to basically find Instagram influencers in your niche and then follow them. So you can follow, you can unfollow Instagram users, you can schedule posts, and another way to get more followers is to even post more. So the more you post, the more exposure that you will get, especially if you are piggybacking on hashtags, which we'll talk later on. But Follow Adder is a software tool. It's a bot that will automatically do a lot of things for you. But as we've seen with other industries as well, a lot of times big companies will crack down and they'll ban the accounts. So just keep in mind that we've seen that with LinkedIn, we've seen that with Facebook, we've seen that with just about any social media platform. So the key here is do it lightly and of course use this at your own risk. Hello and welcome to video number 7, which is traffic source number 1. Hashtags. Even though hashtags is one of the few methods that are popular in the world of social media and very common, hashtags on Instagram are well used all over Instagram. In fact, if you take a look at a Instagram post, a lot of times you'll find that there are 5, 6, 7 different hashtags all in one post. Now, before you can use hashtags, however, you need to have a good set of keywords. A lot of times people just put random hashtags in hopes that they are going to generate traffic. But you're going to do it differently, and instead you're going to find keywords that are already getting traffic to them, and you're going to use those hashtags. So from prior videos, like the videos earlier where we talked about Google suggest keywords and Amazon suggest keywords, you can simply take these specific keywords and break them up for even further. Now, the nice thing about hashtags is you're basically piggybacking on already existing traffic. People are already hashtagging these specific hashtags. There are already traffic going to them. All right. So just like a Google search engine on Instagram, using keywords will allow you to attract a high quality fan of a similar passion. So it's time to do a little brainstorming. Okay, so like I said, Instagram is mainly images. However, to describe your images, it uses a lot of different hashtags. So you don't want to just use a bunch of random tags. You want to use hashtags that are actually getting traffic. Now, certain hashtags or keywords could be getting a large amount of super targeted traffic, so you'll want to use them strategically. So the question is, how do you know if a certain hashtag is getting enough traffic? Well, you could easily find this out by using BuzzSumo and other tools as well. So you want to find a handful of keywords that express your content post and piggyback on that traffic. So if that post is something that intrigues your audience and you've done all the demographical research and all that, then it's high converting essentially, then you should get a lot of likes and comments and all that. So from that, you want to take a bundle of hashtags that are getting a lot of traffic and you want to combine them into a sentence without making it look like spam. So let me show you how BuzzSumo and other tools work to achieve this. Now, before I start, I want to warn you that when using hashtags, even with hashtags, you can get your account banned if you post too many posts with the same exact hashtag over and over and over again. So basically, at the end of the day, the advice that I can give you is to look as natural as possible. Do not look spammy at all, otherwise you will trigger the algorithm and trigger a red flag and potentially get bans. So like I said in the previous video, if you overdo anything, that's not a good thing. Keep it normal as much as possible. So I'm going to show you two different tools. The first one is buzzsumo.com, which will basically help you figure out and analyze what content performs the best for any topic or competitor. So this is kind of a first step. It allows you to figure out what content is performing best. And then of course, we're going to use a second tool called Hashtagify.me. That's Hashtagify.me. And this software tool, it's free. It allows you to basically find and analyze hashtags. All right. So it's a two-step process. So the first thing you can do is you can either enter the domain name of a competitor. So if you're starting out, obviously you don't have the data and anything like that. So you could find the website of your competitor and enter that here. Or you can enter a general keyword, like in this case, scuba diving, just to keep things more consistent. So we type that in and we do the search. We can filter by date, like what is the content that is hot within the last 24 hours, the past week, the past month, the past 6 months, and the past year. So if something is trending just recently, you might want to do at a recent date. And if it's consistent throughout many years, we could choose like the past 5 years. Now, the thing about BuzzSumo is it does cost money to upgrade, but there is a free version, and the free version you can get some ideas. All right. So what we're doing here, you type in scuba diving and you can see what kind of content is really doing really well. So we can see like this one gets 68,000 Facebook engagement. We got Pinterest and all that. We can't necessarily see what's going on in Instagram, but Facebook is a good indication because, and then we have Pinterest as well. Pinterest is also a good indication as well because Pinterest is somewhat similar to Instagram in the sense that it's mainly images. So if we click on Pinterest shares and we can sort it, we can see what is actually doing really well as far as pictures go. Right? So we can see the majority of these are like diving gear. So they're definitely selling stuff right here, right? So differences between a dive, a snorkel, mask, diving gear. So if we click on one of these, we can take a look at the content and just get an idea of the actual pictures that are involved and all of that. So with Instagram, you can't really link the image to like a URL except for the one URL that you get in your profile. So really what you're looking for is images that are engaging, that are getting high volumes of shares and all of that. Now what you need to do is next is once you get some ideas at BuzzSumo, you can hop on over to hashtagify.me. So let's type in a hashtag. I've done that just now, scuba diving, and we can see that what it'll do is it'll take your keyword and it'll find the other keywords that are surrounding it, like travel, ocean, scuba diving, scuba adventure, underwater, and more. So these are good. And to the right here, you can see this is taken from Twitter. But think about it. We can see that these are the top ones, right? So if they're the top ones, you can simply come here and just grab these hashtags and use them for yourself. But this allows you to find hashtags that are getting traffic. So we could go here, we could type scuba, and we could look under Twitter and see what's going on. But this basically just allows us and gives us an idea of what different hashtags you could potentially use. Now, to get a better gauge on what the volume of traffic that particular hashtag is getting, you'd have to actually go on Instagram. And Instagram is a platform mainly via mobile, but we can actually go there now. Now, one thing you'll notice is that if you go to Instagram.com, you will have to log in. The one way to bypass that is simply by going to Instagram.com/Instagram, as you can see here in the address bar. So once you go here, you will see a search engine and you can begin to search for tags. So let's do a search for scuba. And just like the Google Suggest Keywords, you can see with Instagram, it also gives you suggestions, right? So we got scuba diving girl, scuba diving woman, scuba diving life, scuba diving magazine for mag. So let's just click on that real quick and see what they're posting. So that's the scuba diving mag, and that has 14,000 posts. And if we just put our mouse over, we can see, okay, this one has like 1,700 hearts, which are basically likes, one comment. Then we scroll down, we can see this has 180, 352, 173. So that's a good sign when you can see that there are a good amount of hearts or likes. So you could include something like scuba diving right here and see how many posts it gets. So there's 2,000 posts, which does mean that as you post things, they can get stuck down below, but at the same time, more saturation is actually a good thing, because more saturation means that there are a large amount of people actually looking for these posts. So the more you post, you can get more traffic back to your Instagram profile. But using hashtagify.me allows you to kind of gauge what kind of hashtags you can use, and of course you can verify that via Instagram. Now, before I end this video, I want to say the best way to learn how to kind of bundle your hashtags is if you go to something like this. For example, you see this is only using like one hashtag, so they could be using a few more. I wouldn't use a ton of hashtags, but as you can see, they're definitely using a good amount of hashtags, probably about 5 or 6 or so. But let's just keep clicking. So this one here is a good example. We can see scuba diving, scuba, Ecuador, dive, a bunch of keywords related to like animals, save your sharks and stuff. So this guy is piggybacking on different organizations like Save Our Seas, Save Our Sharks, South America. So basically he's taken all these keywords or hashtags that relate to each other but also relate to this picture and hashtags them. And that's great. So he's hashtagged about 10, 15 different hashtag keywords, and he's got a good amount of likes and all that. Now, I will say, like I said earlier, don't take these keywords and hashtag every single post. Use different posts and different keywords every single time. So you could use scuba and scuba diving consistently, but you want to kind of mix it up. Make it look like you're not spamming. Welcome back. This is video number 8. This is going to be traffic source number 4. So congratulations, you have reached the end of this video course. So this is somewhat of a mixture of traffic and optimization. This is something that most people forget about, but by doing so, you will rank higher in the Instagram ranking system, the algorithm, and all that, and that will help you. So basically, if you think about it, if you optimize your posts, then you'll tell Instagram where you need to be ranked. You'll attract the right person, and then you will get the right traffic. You'll get more conversions, likes, and then you'll increase your rank. So the next traffic source is image captions. Believe it or not, your image captions make or break whether you attract the right or wrong person. If you don't put image captions and you solely rely on the image and the hashtags, then you're not actually getting the full potential of traffic that you could be getting. So in other words, you want to be as descriptive as possible without being spammy like the hashtags, and you want to have captions for your images. So on top of the hashtags, if you do it all right, you have other keywords that you can essentially stuff in. And then that's the nice thing about Instagram is you can literally stuff in a bunch of keywords and actually get away with it and be okay, because that's what they're looking for. So also you want to make sure that they are optimized towards who you want to attract. So the key here is to optimize your captions, your hashtags, your pictures even, and much more. So while this may not sound like a powerful technique, like a mind-blowing traffic source and all that, it's because you're tapping into the Instagram algorithm. Once you get this right, you get the hashtags right, and you do your shout outs and all that, you can really kickstart and jumpstart everything so that you can begin to start creating a snowball effect. So the shout outs will help you in getting people to your page and all that. But by doing that, you start building a snowball that's just going downhill. And just, as you know, with the snowball, as it goes downhill, it just gets bigger and bigger and bigger because you got all this optimization right. All right, so let me show you some examples of how this works. Okay, so what I want to do is I want to show you a very quick difference between a brand and a personal lifestyle kind of Instagram profile. So first things first, this one here is Scuba Diving Magazine. So very, very kind of, this is how it is kind of thing. A Scuba Lab test driver scores a regular during our in-water gear tests. So they're telling them what's happening, who it is, what's in the picture, but also more importantly, what they are doing. So it's part of their lifestyle, part of their day. It's like, hey, this is what we're doing today kind of thing. So this is the caption, and then of course there's the hashtags here. Now on a more personal profile, we can see that the caption is Happy International Whale Shark Day to all shark loving friends. So it's not really related to the picture itself, but it is engaging with the audience. So you could do that as well. But if you use captions that are related to the post but are also engaging as well, that's a bonus and can help you as well. So as you can see, you got captions here, you have hashtags, and you have a good picture. A lot of people, what they do is they just post a picture, maybe some captions, and no hashtag. Or they do hashtags and very little captions, if that. So you kind of, what you want to do is, what I'm trying to tell you is basically balance it out, keep everything so that you have everything optimized and you're able to rank in the Instagram algorithm. Now, like I said, go back to Instagram.com/Instagram, get an idea, take a look at what people are doing in your niche, what posts are actually getting good engagement and all that. Don't copy people, but you can use similar hashtags that they're doing well on. Take a look at people that are authorities in your niche that are doing well and kind of follow them and analyze them and potentially mimic them as well. Now, besides images, I'll say videos work really well. But as you know, with Instagram, you can't really take long videos like you would on YouTube. Videos will be like short, very short, 10-second or less clips. So if you can do that, you can also use that to increase your engagement as well.